This is Sarah, and this spring I'm working on a new project that I'm calling the Flocking Masks. So I'm creating a series of wearables for my friends that will respond to their facial expressions with mechanical features that will actuate on the outside of the mask. And as the name suggests, the masks are inspired by the behaviors of birds. So I grew up with a parrot named Mango, and over the course of my life, him and I developed this rich language that we used to communicate our emotions to one another that involved gesture and body movement and a series of weird sounds. And I thought this was kind of an interesting thing. As you know, birds are flocking creatures. They can tell who's part of their family by what birds can make the same sounds as them and the same movements. And yeah, that's how they kind of stick together and can tell who's living in the area. One of the things I've always been very jealous of is my parrot's ability to express his emotions with all of the feathers on his head and face. They're constantly moving, and you can very much tell what he's feeling by whether they're poofed out or kind of sucked flush to his head. They're very expressive, and humans, we kind of rely primarily on speech to communicate, with a little bit of facial expression thrown in here and there, but it's very flat and boring sometimes. I kind of want to augment that. So these masks are my way of doing so. Specifically, I am keying in on 4 of my closest friends. I'm, of course, making a mask for my boyfriend Mark, my best friend Taylor, and Matt, and Tony. I have to cast each of their faces first. So the inside of the mask will form very tightly to the specific wearer's facial features. I threw out there that with their facial gestures, they're going to be able to trigger mechanical components on the outside of the mask, blah, blah, blah. That's good and fine, but how, right? So I'm pulling this off with a capacitance circuit, and this involves placing tiny copper pads on the inside of the mask that will make contact with the wearer's skin to varying degrees. So depending on how much skin is making contact with these pads will determine how much the outside of the mask actuates. This is going to take a little bit of trial and error, so at some point in the future, I'm going to invite everybody over to have a facial expression making date, and everyone will wear their mask and make whatever facial expression is supposed to trigger the reaction, except the circuit will just have a LED attached to it. So they're going to be grimacing or smiling and trying to light up an LED. Once the proof of concept has been kind of confirmed, I can move on to the next step, which is deciding what this whole capacitance copper plate thing is going to trigger on each of the masks. The goal with the project is to create 5 unique masks that are representative of the wearer and their primary personality traits. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do yet, but I have a rough idea. I've got plenty of faces to steal, and I need to do the facial expression date, so that's got to get planned. So until my next update, as always, keep making awesome stuff out there, and thank you for watching.